We're going to do the Excel data problem here today. The Excel data problem here is located on Moodle, so you can open up that data file off of there. This data file is going to be used to, in this class, we're going to use this for application 9-3 in order to view this file and actually complete it. So we're going to read all the steps of this that we're told here to prepare a petty cash report, and we're going to use Excel to our advantage and use some formulas there to help us out with calculating out these numbers. We're going to read all the steps before completing the spreadsheet. We're going to click the application problem 9-3 tab to view the blank data file, so that's right down here. We'll key our name in cell B2. We'll key November 30th, 2013, the current year, in cell B6. We'll key the petty cash fund total in cell D10. We'll key the totals for each expense categories in cells C11 through C13. We'll key the cash count from the petty cash box in cell D16. And then any cells containing an F require a formula. Create and key formulas to complete the spreadsheet. Use single cell formulas for cells F15 and F18, and then print the spreadsheet. We're not necessarily going to print the spreadsheet. We just need to save it, and then we will email it to me. So the first one is we're going to key our name into cell B2. So I'll go ahead and I'll do that right now. Cell B2. Type in Mr. Schneider. So you should type in your name there. The next step we're actually going to do is, instead of keying November 30th, 2013, the current year, we're doing application problem 9-3, and in the application problem 9-3, we're actually going to want to type in January 31st, 2013 into cell B6, or right there for the date. So make sure you put in January 31st, 2013. We also need to type in the custodian of this particular petty cash fund, which in that situation was Kevin Tomlinson. And then if we take a look at our working papers in order to fill this out, this will help us out tremendously. We're going to key in the petty cash fund total in cell D10. And as we remember from our working papers or in application problem 9-3, the petty cash fund total is $200. Now what we have to do is key the totals for each expense category from C11 to C13. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my expenses. I had $12.10 in supplies to the office, $60 in advertising expense, and $56.45 in miscellaneous expense. Now what I'm going to do is, if I go back here, I didn't have anything anything repairs related. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to key the cash count from the petty cash box in cell D16. So in cell D16, so the amount that we had on hand, D16, we're actually going to type in D17 is what that direction should say. And what we actually had on hand was $70.67, which is the only other thing that doesn't require a formula. Now we're going to type in these formulas here. So in cell D15, I'm going to type in a formula that's going to add up all of our total payments here. So I'm going to type in equals sum, open parenthesis, and that's going to be equals sum C11 through C14, or C11 colon C14, and end parentheses and go ahead and hit enter. And it's going to add it up for me. It's going to be $128.55. The next line in D16, what I'm going to do is I want to create a formula that takes the fund total and subtracts the total amount of payments that we had. So I'm going to type in equals, and I'm going to type in equals D10 and then minus D15. So equals D10 minus D15. And I'm going to get $71.45. So that's the equation I have in cell D16 right now. You can go ahead and pause it if you need to see that. And the equation I have in cell D15 right now is like that, if I needed to zoom in so you can see a little bit easier. So I have that calculating out for me correctly so far. Now what I need to do is I also need to create a formula that is going to take this number and subtract this number and figure out if we are short or over in the petty cash box. And in this situation, we are actually over, so it's going to show up as a negative number, okay? And that's okay. So we want to take, in this cell, type in equals $71.45, or excuse me, we're actually under in the petty cash box, so this number is going to turn out to be positive. Excuse me for that. Is going to equal D16 minus D17. So $71.45 minus $70.67. So that's a formula I want in there. And I'm going to end up with 78 cents. That's going to be my cash short. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some single cell formulas here, because remember this arrow is simply indicating that these numbers get pulled over to the right hand side for us to better see what's actually going on. So all I'm going to do is type in equals and then just click in that cell, equals D15. So what that means is anything that's in D15 is going to be in cell F15. And the same thing goes for cell F18. I'm going to type in equals D18. So that means anything that's in cell D18 is going to end up in cell F18. So I go ahead and I hit enter there. Perfect. I've got 128.55 up there and 78 cents down there. Now what I'm going to do is put in the amount to replenish. So since this is a positive number, and it's not going to matter if it ends up negative anyway, the actual amount that I want to replenish, I'm going to type in equals F15 plus F18. So I want to add those two numbers together. And I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to get $129.33 is the actual amount I need to replenish. So that's how formulas can help us out with our petty cash report and finding out how much we actually have to replenish. And then if I were to, as usual, if I were to change any number here, so if let's say I had actually $65 in advertising expense, the entire sheet changes for me like so. Then I can take that back to 60. Or perhaps I want to make it lower, so 54, so on and so forth. The whole sheet changes with it. So that's it for this particular work together here today. Or not necessarily work together. This is it for the application problem 9-3 Excel data file. Make sure you save it and then go ahead and email it to me.